Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. This is the spoiler version. I'm going to call it the discussion version, spoiler
Mm.
discussion version, because we're just going to ask questions. We're going to talk about anything and everything. This is like a chat with me and Emily, and you guys can also answer in the comments below. If we like your comments, guys, we're going to maybe give you a shout out in the next video we do together. Definitely might pin it. So if you want to be the comment of the day, give us your review, your juicy analysis. We want to hear it. All right, so this
Mhm.
is spoiler version of Hi Nana. We just checked it out, so you might see the video. The stars, of course, Nani as Viraj, Mrinal Thakur as Yashna, Kiara Khanna as their beautiful little daughter, and a lot of other actors we'll mention. If you haven't seen it, go check out the movie on Netflix and come right back. Click that pause button, get some food and drinks ready, come right back, and then just get into the discussion with us. All right, here we go. We've been warned. So, spoilers. So, firstly, I think what we didn't mention in the last video is, of course, that Nani meets Mrinal Thakur's character Yashna and tells her and his daughter about how he met her mother. So it is a how I met your mother
Mhm.
story. Except the twist is that the mother is actually Mrinal Thakur herself.
Ah! Yeah.
Mind blown.
Did you see that coming?
No.
I
Well,
did not.
yeah. No,
I
I have to be honest, I did like sneak a little bit of a spoiler just to see if anybody dies in the film because I was too scared. But no, I think I didn't anticipate it when I saw the trailer, teaser, anything.
I
Yeah.
literally wrote down the actress's name and I looked it up on Wikipedia because I was like, I need to know
Yep.
this woman. And I said
Yeah.
as Yashna slash Varsha, and I was like, okay. I was like, cool. And I didn't think anything of it. I literally wrote down
Oh,
the
you
fact that
did.
she was both characters, and I didn't think anything of it. And my jaw was on the ground. I could
Wow.
not believe it. I did not guess that at all.
No, it is a very big twist because I do feel like when I was seeing it, I was not expecting that to be the twist. Like, I
Mm.
mean, Emily mentions we did a teaser reaction at some point, guys. I mean, we're into reviews now, but in the reaction, I think I tried to predict the story, and this was nothing like what I predicted. But yeah, that is a big twist. The fact that so the story goes, and this is where I think we can talk more about the script and the writing because so much of the film's acting and emotions and the second half flows from this twist. So I think if you
Mhm.
guys are watching it in India, I'm thinking you're having an intermission, which is a
Mhm.
brief interval between part one, part two. So this might be where you're like that revelation. So there's this scene literally where Nani talks about his wife, how they met, love at first sight. Then they got married. And we're going to talk about the relationship dynamics in this video too acting, relationship dynamics, crazy, controlling, toxic parents. We'll talk about it all. But coming to the twist, so he tells her that his wife and him, because she wants to know the end of the story. She doesn't remember them, guys, because she's got amnesia. Of a crazy, just a sudden traumatic amnesia is what they say in the movie. But she doesn't remember them. But then basically, you see this shot of him coming home and we don't still know then that she is the wife that he's been talking about this entire time. But he has that screenshot of her in the rain. And that's when we're like, and that's a really nice reveal when he clicks that thing and we
Mhm.
just see that shot and you're like,
You're like,
oh my
wait,
God. I know. I thought that was beautifully done. I thought that was beautifully done. And then she's looking in the mirror. Was it surgical stuff that we saw in her hair when she's looking in the mirror and just lifting up her thing? Were
yeah, there's some scarring or
there's some
something.
scarring there. I
Yeah.
don't know. I didn't notice it the first time, so I actually had to rewind on Netflix to see that shot again. But yeah, so yes, basically that was the tea, guys. So she was the mom all along, and she forgot her entire family and her entire life. But you know what the weird thing was? That was not the part that shocked me. I think what is really shocking or somewhat novel about this film is how they're talking about you know, a woman and someone who really did want to be a mother. Like that is actually a
Mhm.
bit,
Yes,
unconventional,
I wrote
So
that down too. Yeah.
that is very interesting because I think typically people are afraid of making their protagonist look bad. But I
Mm.
thought it was very honest in how she herself was very honest. The character of Varsha was very honest right from the beginning. Varsha, Yashna, same person, guys. So she was very honest about, I don't believe in the institution of marriage. I don't want to have kids. And she had so many apprehensions because her parents had been through divorce and she was
Mhm.
traumatized, like a really toxic divorce, which I'm not surprised given how toxic her mom turned out, but nonetheless, a very toxic divorce. And so she's traumatized by that, so much so that when she hears loud noises, she's like scared, and
Yeah.
somebody has to cover her ears because she can't take it. So some severe trauma from that. So I thought that was beautiful to show something so important, how divorce and particularly violent relationships play on
Yeah, and I
kids.
also feel like because of that, it also brings up the commentary of what's it like to have a woman who does not want to have kids and
Mm-hmm.
to kind of make her have kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a difficult message to send because it's like, well, sometimes like you can't get into a relationship with someone and
Yeah.
expect them to change their mind on something as big as that. Because that's a
Yeah.
big choice to be like, I do not want to have kids. And so for her to then like just change her mind and have kids and then have her so dramatically be like, I wish I didn't have kids with you. I wish I didn't marry you. I wish I never
Yeah.
met you. It's like it's curious to know where that, mindset came from. And it's like, man, it does kind of make you curious how their relationship is gonna be after the movie.
I do feel like the way they showed her, I mean, this is why I love the fact that she's an imperfect person, and he
Mhm.
has his imperfections too. And I was very scared because there is that moment where, she comes in. um I mean, the whole relationship, the premise of it was, I think, somewhat. You could tell that there was going to be issues, and it's wonderful that they showed that, because typically they show
Mhm.
man chases woman, falls in love with her, she falls back in love with him, and everything is
Yeah.
hunky dory. But this is a woman who the first thing she says is, "I have had a traumatic." Trauma from my parents'
Yeah.
divorce, and that's why I don't want to have kids, I don't want to marry. And then this woman slowly and surely comes to trust this man, who's a beautiful man. Like, Nani's character is a wonderful guy,
Good guy, good
very
heart.
loving. Yeah, a
Yeah.
good heart. But there was that scene where he's like, "I want to have kids," and she's like, "I told you I don't want to have kids. Why can't we be happy with each other?" And she's someone who has a very, like, she's always ready to like jump or quit because
Yeah.
she had so much trauma. She's always like, what if things don't work out? We can't predict the future. So, and he was like, he said something really powerful. He's like, "I'm kind of worried about your thought process because you're always expecting
Mm.
things to somewhat fail." But I feel like when she just came around and said, "Okay, no, let's have kids," because I was worried he was going to pressure her to have kids. And I
Yeah.
think he almost got angry and left, but somehow she herself was like, "Oh, let's give this a try."
Yeah, he, like, came back they both came to, like, come back to each other at the same time.
Yeah.
He, like, opens the door and she's there. And that's the beauty of life because you're allowed to change your mind. You're
Right,
allowed
right.
to say yes. And then for it to for it to be so bad in the beginning is so sad because it's like, Nick, you parents have to go through so much.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
so hard having a kid that is
Right,
sick
right.
because you just expect the process to go good, and then you have a baby, and then you're happy for the rest of your life.
I think we have
It's
to
not
talk
always
about this hospital sequences. I felt like
tough.
coming from those were some of the most powerful scenes. So, guys, if you've seen it, let us know in the comments what you thought. But I thought those were some of the most powerful scenes where first he gets news that his daughter has cystic fibrosis, which means that she might die. She might not even make it through year one. So I can understand the trauma. And then when the wife, Varsha Yashna, Varsha's character just comes and says, "You said we were going to be happy. You said this is going to be the
Yeah.
best decision." And she breaks down. Oh my God, the acting
Oh my
there.
god, that seems crazy.
That scene when she's falling down crying
Oh
and
my
he's falling down
gosh.
crying, and then he envelops her in his arms, and that frame that they cut
So
out, that
tragic.
silhouette. Because they see like the two things you see on one hand, and so it was beautifully shot. Good job, beautiful job by Sharov. On one hand is that what is it, the nursery or whatever, where they keep the kids in the
Yeah.
incubator, and the other scene is the two parents hugging themselves crying on the floor. Very, very powerful. So for me, the fact that she might be even going through like, what is it that we have with women,
Oh, like
post post
postpartum
postpartum,
depression?
yes,
Yeah,
postpartum depression. Because, and on top of that,
totally. I didn't even think about
yeah,
that. You're so right. That probably is what's happening.
because she's just sitting there frozen, she's shocked, she
Oh, wow.
assumed the worst, like she was already, like she was petrified of having children for that reason, because of the
Yeah.
scars it could leave. And then to have that, I feel it was very human to show her this way, because if we are going through that for 4 months, she's of course very angry with her husband, because that decision was not something she wanted. So she's she's basically torn. I don't want to say twisted, that's not the right word. She was torn between, now having to deal with a sick child that could die any minute and
Yeah.
whatever. So when they're in the car and they have that scene where she says right before the accident that I wish I never met you. I wish I never married
I
you. I
just
wish
like
I never
you,
was the
yeah.
mother. And how it comes around beautifully at the end, that part almost teared me
Yeah.
up. I was like, anyway, we'll come to that. But that scene to me is very human, like a mother
Yeah.
who's basically got the worst news of her life, was petrified of marriage, is taking a chance. So she is a very young mother, she's very inexperienced, and she's also somewhat crippled with the fear and trauma of her past, which nobody showed her getting any therapy for, which I, again, there's something that mental
She
health,
needed it. Come on, mom. What is
yeah.
like
And she had the worst mom in the world too. Oh my god, what a horrible mother. Like, I'm sorry to say,
she
but this was
I just was so mad at her at so many moments. I was like, how can you like look at the kid with so much disgust? Like she
I
knows who this
know.
is. She's like, oh, this stupid kid with cystic fibrosis. I hate her. It's like
I mean,
that's your daughter's daughter.
I know, I know. So yeah, then the accident happens, of course, because Nani. That's also a horrible thing, guys. Watch when you're driving or park
That
somewhere. I mean,
accident was traumatic. I literally
yeah,
wrote like
yeah.
that was kind of scary. Like that was
That
nightmare
was.
inducing accident. That was
This is
scary.
why seat belts, everybody, and please don't look at your phone when you drive for reasons like this. I thought it was a very honest depiction, and you
It
can see so much
was.
that it is his fault because he was looking at her and not looking at the road, and it hit him. So you can't even say another car accidentally hit him. It was very much so. I loved how this script. And the writers of the script were not afraid to give these people accountability for their bad decisions. Like they show it. They don't try to sugarcoat it. They don't try to make Nani seem like the best man in the world. He has imperfections. Clearly he's too romantic, too idealistic in some ways, and of course, Mrinal has her own journey of evolution and stuff like that. But the mom, let's talk about the mom, because the second half, everything that happened, because Nani and his daughter basically had to move away because she was like, the girl, the daughter, Mrinal Thakur's character, post accident didn't have any memory, and the last memory was of her and her. She doesn't even know that they're divorced. She doesn't even think her parents are divorced, which is
Yeah.
insane.
I mean,
So
like imagine hating a poor person so much that you don't reintroduce your daughter to them after they had just had a whole child together. It's
that
are
was
you
insane.
okay?
I know. Then the mother just basically goes, she doesn't know you, so she's not your wife anymore. And she doesn't remember anything. And basically, I can understand how Nani in that moment being so hated by the mother and so vilified and feeling perhaps responsible. They don't talk about him feeling responsible for the accident, but I think him saying that I just brought her so much sadness in her life, and him saying with his baby in his arms that
I
you'll
mean,
never hear from us again.
accepting not to introduce
Yeah.
his child to a woman he knows is still alive. Like he accepted that and
Yeah.
he decided
Insane.
at that moment that was the best decision for her.
I can understand. In a way, I couldn't understand because in some ways it seems so insane. Like, I would think, okay, give the woman time. She has no memory. Give her a few months before you start introducing major things, like you have a daughter who
Yeah.
has cystic fibrosis, you have a husband who you are very upset with, but to just kind of decide cold turkey, all right, new life, new name, bye.
It's like that's the most drastic decision.
It's crazy. And I just feel like the mother, of course, I mean, maybe he was like, I don't want to deal with you, mother in law, monster in law. I should say monster in law applies perfectly for this Karen, this
Yeah.
Indian Karen.
Wow.
But yeah, it was horrible. So I think then the fact that she comes back into their life, to me, I was at first very skeptical of that. Like how she's
Mm.
6 year old and she's running away from home, the daughter, at some point because Nani refuses to tell her about the mom. And she's taking the dog and the dog recognizes her. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I missed it. So she was just standing outside the place she used to sing at. Is
I
that what
think so.
happened?
Honestly, it's just the moment of Pluto recognizing her was so distinct. You kind of forget
Yeah.
about it. You're just like, holy crap. Like, and it's when you watch it the first time, you think the dog is just running away. But then when you watch it the second time, you realize that
Yeah.
the dog is
Yeah,
remembering
which
her.
was very beautiful. I think there
Beautiful.
was I know, like the thing with just the animal too, right?
Oh
Like I
my
love The
who was
animal
so
love.
cute,
I
right?
know. I
When he's
know.
a little puppy, like those, like that
Oh,
was a small
yeah.
puppy. And you put a
That was.
puppy in a film, I'm gonna like it as long as you don't kill it.
I know. I was gonna say, don't hurt the dog, but
Don't hurt the dog. I'm having an issue with that.
but it was very cute because he recognized her when she was, and she used to not also like dogs. Come on, who doesn't like
Yeah,
dogs? But
get over
anyway,
it.
she got over it, which was great. Even pre-accident, so
Just trying to
we
be
we forgive
quirky.
her. But but she, but the dog remembered her and came to her, which was so adorable. What a beautiful dog. But yeah, so
Mhm.
I think just that to me was a bit strange because okay, the other big spoiler, which we have to say so we can just talk about the film now in totality, they left it till the end. But you see Nani's character, Viraj, living with what you presume is his father. That's
Mhm.
not his dad, yo. At the end, daddy comes and tells his daughter. So he's actually Mrinal's father. And post her traumatic accident where she became amnesic, he decides, because maybe he also didn't want to deal with his monster in law of a wife, he was like, I'm going to come live with Nani and take care of him, which I thought was one of the most amazing things I've seen in a movie. You do not see father in laws going to live with their son in laws.
No, that was beautiful, and they
That
had
was
such a
beautiful.
close relationship, and
Yeah.
they just had the same mindset that they were able to, like, help each other out. I mean, they fought a little bit about what to say to the daughter. They were like, "Maybe we should tell her, maybe she's getting old enough, she's
Yeah.
asking questions," but he really came in clutch.
He was, and I want to know, did they ever mention, I'm like trying to think, Nani's parents, nobody knows what happened to them? Are they alive,
I
not?
just don't think they were important. I
Not
don't know, the
relevant.
storyline maybe. I don't
It's like,
remember him mentioning it at all.
I know, it just felt like he's all alone. But yeah, no, I thought the father-in-law relationship with Nani's character and how supportive a father-in-law can be, because I
Yeah.
think that's not a relationship that's often, like we have like Meet the Fockers where you've got, you know, approval of the girl's father. But here you
Yeah.
see the mother-in-law being the problematic person, the father-in-law being the nicest, most amazing human being and grandfather you can ever have. So hats
Yeah.
off. Hats off to that. I was very, very impressed with that twist and also just that relationship and how it played out.
Mm.
But yeah, let's talk about I think some of the stuff that I have to say that I don't know what didn't work for us now that we have the spoilers out of the way.
Uh,
What was it that was sort of maybe not as
I
amazing?
I mean, I said this in the other video, but I just feel like the first like 40 minutes up to the twist being revealed, I just wasn't as attached to the story.
Right,
And I was like, okay, I knew this girl was sick and that's sad. What else is going to happen?
right,
Um
right.
but it was the twist just grabs your attention so quickly that then you're like, "Oh my gosh, wait. Someone's like, when is this gonna blow up?" That's the whole
Yeah,
question. And the way they like introduced the other husband or the fiance, and then they introduced like just slow like it was just felt like every sequence was telling such a major story. And the
yeah.
scene where Nani flips the freaking table in front of the
Confronts
grandma, I
the
was like,
monster in law. Yeah,
in front of the monster in light, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I can't believe this woman told this child. I mean, I'm
yeah,
I'm praising it now. I'm not saying anything wrong about it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it
No, it
just
was,
it was
it
that
was.
it didn't grab my attention right away.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think at first it just seemed like a beautiful father. We knew there was something happening with Mrinal's character. We thought she was just a romantic interest.
Yeah.
Here's what I find kind of strange about the story and how it sort of
Mhm.
ends. I mean, we'll talk about beautiful moments too, guys, that touched us and were amazing. I think everything towards the end, the last few scenes, very, very powerful. When
Mhm.
she's in the hospital, the daughter is in the hospital because of this crazy monster in law, probably telling her that this is your mother, because she never knew that Yashna slash Mrinal Thakur, she didn't know the whole
Yeah.
story. But the mother, and like I was like, yeah, how do you hate a kid so much? But nonetheless, despite this evil lady, she lands up in the hospital because obviously she needs, like, she has some sort of a, which I'm not surprised because of the stress, probably she has some sort of an attack. They take her to the emergency. But what I found surprising is that they never tell the wife about her past. because it just seemed by the end of the film, she's just pretending that she met Nani in 7 days and fell in love with him. But I kept
Yeah, I agree with
rewatching,
that.
and
I
I
feel like there
was
was.
like,
I feel like there should have been a more distinct moment of like, wow, I remember everything, or either adding on to her learning things. It just felt like it was. I didn't get the clear moment of when she realized that who he was, and I
did
wanted
she ever?
that better.
I don't think so.
I feel like she kind of understood by the end, but I wanted a moment where she recognized him. I feel like that should have been a scene, and it wasn't.
I just felt like, because I did rewatch those scenes because I was so confused, because I
Yeah,
felt like the daughter who is having this ailment, this fatal ailment, she knows. By the way, she survives, guys. Spoiler alert. She
yeah,
survives and sings a beautiful song at the end. I was hoping to see the parents in the crowd, but we didn't see them. But nonetheless, she survives. But this is the weird thing. I don't think, even till the end, I think she feels that she chose him,
yeah,
but it never, like, and she says, please save my daughter, but it never came across as she knows. So I don't
yeah.
know, I don't know for sure if she knows, or if she's just like, oh,
I don't know,
I'm
and I don't know if that's maybe because they didn't want her to feel like the same woman who was like, I don't want to be with you. Maybe they
or like, I'm
wanted
not
them.
taking our chances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they wanted
No,
her to
because
be a better, newer, different, more loving partner that like wants to make it work, or I'm not sure.
she definitely doesn't know. I'll tell you why. Because that dialogue. So there is a dialogue at the end, which is one of my favorite dialogues and scenes, and I'm gonna send it to Fred so that he can put it up there. There's a scene from the film, and it's not much of a spoiler, just a scene where she's like, I wish I had met you at Kunur.
Mm.
I wish I had married
Mhm.
you. Because it's funny, because it's sort of a parallel of what she said in the car before the accident, which is, I wish I never met you at Kunur. I wish I never married you. I wish I was never giving birth to this daughter. And
And
then
is
she says, I wish I did.
do you think that's her like wishing she remembered that?
No, I think she's saying, I wish I were that person, because she still thinks that she
Oh.
is. I mean, she probably feels like a mother figure to the child, because she has a weird connection with this child. And she's like,
Yeah,
oh,
she
now
also
I'm gonna.
she also got connected with that child really quick. I was like, I don't think this is an appropriate relationship for like a complete stranger to have with your
I
kid.
think I think they were trying to make it seem like that motherly instinct, like, even with amnesia, it doesn't leave you. You feel it when it's your child. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know what they were going for.
but like I saw it, I was like, oh, this woman should not be touching that kid. It's like nice stranger, but like, let's go home.
I know she was behaving like she's, yeah, that was very odd how she was very coming on strong
Yeah,
as like. And
totally
also
was.
I have to say, so yeah, so I don't think she knows, so everybody in the family but her knows, which is going to be interesting to keep up this farce, unless they sit her down and tell her at some point, but who knows, we never see that scene. The other thing was funny when she's falling in love, so she meets her ex-husband and her, well, I don't know if they ever got divorced, but
Mm.
she meets her, maybe they did, her ex-husband and her
Nani.
child that she, yeah, Nani.
Yeah.
And he tells her, because there's a scene where it's like, you forgot everything about your wife, like she was like assuming the role of the wife and getting angry on her behalf, like in the beach, remember, and she's like, you
Yeah.
forgot how she looks, and he describes her, and the next day she comes up looking like the ex-wife. I would never do that to
They're
the
like,
guy I'm
what are
crushing
your
on.
motives? Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, didn't he just divorce?
No.
Like, get, they had a horrible relationship. You heard, so you come up dressing like the ex. I thought that would be like major
It's
red
brave.
flags.
It's brave for sure.
She's like, look at me, I got the black dress now. You think I look
Oof,
cute?
crazy.
Yeah, but I definitely think that it was definitely Nani's, like, somewhere I sort of wish they had some scenes. It could just be the writer in me, but I wish there were some scenes where they showed her struggling with the memory, because I felt it
Yeah,
was
I
too
agree.
clean between just her being in the hospital and then her kind of just showing up being like, I don't know who you are, hey stranger.
Yeah.
Like, it was too weird. Like, I wish there was some, like, in between scenes where Nani sees her and he's like, oh, who's this guy or something, like,
Well,
just.
yeah, yeah. And maybe that's why the ending you felt unsure about whether or not she remembered or not, is because like we didn't see her battle with the fact that she was in an accident and now
Yeah,
she has that memory loss, and we don't see her trying to get that back, or like, again, like going to therapy, like doing something to help herself.
I know.
They're
I
just
I
listening to
wish
her freaking mom.
I wish there was something where I don't know what they could have done with. I get why they did the amnesia because they wanted her to come back in his life fresh and not carry the burden, but I almost wish there was evolution. Like I
Yeah.
almost wish that she didn't have amnesia and somehow she came back into their life, maybe just because she missed them and she loved them and she thought, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like for a
I don't know. I
character
did like the amnesia part. I
you
think it,
did,
it, it was a little bit harder to believe,
yeah.
but in the theme of it, I liked it.
I guess so, but I think it would have still been as effective if yeah, it would have been a different story, I suppose. But I
Yeah.
don't know. For me, I just feel like if her character, because it's still now, well, so we're just saying that she now loves kids and she wants to have a family with
Yeah.
a stepdaughter. You know, like
Yeah.
somehow she's just changed. And let's not talk about the past when you were like, I hate this child.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I just felt like she didn't get a growth. You know, like her character didn't get like a growth arc, which you would.
I don't feel like, yeah, I don't feel like, I feel like she could have been dove into a little bit further about her character and how she was battling with it. But even then, like, in the when you're watching it, you don't super notice it. Like until afterwards, you have some questions. Like in the movie, I was like, oh, this woman, oh, she's amazing. And then, but now
I
that we're
know, I
talking about
know.
her, I was like, that's right. But it's her character is so likable and the story is so likable, you just forget about it. You're like, I believe you.
Yeah, because it's basically like for her, if you think about it from her perspective, she just basically had a crush on a guy and somehow got obsessed with his daughter and then leaves her own
Yes,
fiance and in 7 days is like, my daughter, my husband. Like, I don't know. He just
girl.
I mean, we know that they are her actual husband, so we feel like, yeah, that's good. This family's reunited. But it's like from her perspective of not knowing anything, it just seems a bit crazy.
Yeah,
Like she's jumping into something. What are the odds that she'll leave them again, huh? She needs
yeah,
therapy. But
crazy.
these are my predictions, guys. That's why they ended the film abruptly with the song. They were like, we don't know. I mean, I was even thinking, I was laughing and telling Fred that maybe they find out afterwards, like she finds out that she was all this and they divorced and they never showed us that
Oh my
that
gosh. I
ending.
mean, I would hope not because they've already been through so much, but you know what? I thought it for a second too. I was like, what if this doesn't work out? I was like, they
Yeah.
just got together.
I know. I could understand Nani's
Like,
skepticism, but
at
yeah.
least at least the girl has got both parents now. She can grow up with the both of
And
them
she made
and
it to her 20s because she's singing a song. And by the way, I have to say,
yeah.
very good casting of the adult,
The little she looks
little
so
girl. I
cute.
think Ritika Nayak, because I felt like their
She's
features
really
almost
pretty.
look like Nani's and Mrinal's combination. Like they all had great teeth. The little girl, the older girl version of her, and the, Nani's longer nose. I was like, yeah, did they actually cast thinking, hey, what would be a love
Mhm.
child between these two?
It
But
was so cool.
it was. Anyway, this movie was really great. It was very heartwarming. I could see myself watching it again, but of course it wouldn't be as great because that twist is what you
I would
need
want
to
to watch
have.
it with friends to
Yeah.
introduce them into it and to see their reaction with all of the moments. I feel like that would be really fun.
Yeah, this would be a great film. I think people, even like the Western audience and all, if you've not seen an Indian cinema, this
Mhm.
would be a nice way to get you into the family
I think this
drama
would be a
and
lovely introduction. Yeah.
yeah, lovely introduction film, and of course because of the cast. So this was our spoiler-filled review of Hi Nana. If you had thoughts, questions, concerns, comments, criticism, love, you want to shower the film or the channel, put it down in the comments below. If we like your comments, we are going to mark them, and we'll try to give you a shout out next time. And we may pin your comment if we think it's really, really awesome in terms of
I'm
the analysis.
I'm
But yeah,
excited to read through them later. Please comment. Let us know what you think
yes.
because I will definitely be reading all of these comments.
And let us know what other film of Nani or Mrinal Thakur or the two of them together we should check
Mhm.
out, because we are, of course, now with reviewing. We still review older movies, newer films, all kinds. So, guys, this was a spoiler version. Hope you enjoyed. Check out Nana in the link below. Follow Emily, myself, social media links down here. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
All right, 9:50.
Oh, I really liked this movie. This movie was so much fun.
It was fun, right? I like